So we're going to cover part 3 of our 3-part series, and this is going to be on the science of sports nutrition, right? So we covered in the first one some basics, odds and ends, things that we need to know, and we're now about to embark on the 3rd part, the science on sports nutrition, and this one, wow, is it controversial. And I'll help you sort through what science is real, what's been proven, and afterwards I'll address questions. You might have some questions, what about this, what about that, why did you exclude that? And so I'll jump into it. So I'll cover the newcomer first. So this is based on the very latest science, came from Australia originally actually, and then we've added some of our new science to it. Australia, by the way, is a hotbed for research regarding this type of thing. It's them and some schools in southwest Ontario. And sports recovery drink is such a controversial topic. Most of the ones on the market here are actually illegal for sale in Europe. Why? Because they have things like artificial sweeteners, preservatives. The food colors are absolutely terrible for you. And you're better off drinking with water than drinking that stuff. It is not good for you. And I know after a football game, you see the coach being dunked after a victory, right? With the, well, you know the names. And it's not a good idea, folks. Stay away from it. What you have to look for is the electrolytes should be sodium, potassium, chloride, magnesium. And the magnesium has to be in bisglycinate form. It's 6 times more absorbable. Okay? If you use regular magnesium, you get what athletes call rot gut. Okay? And it's exactly that. It's diarrhea, nausea, and it's because your gut is so reactive after competition. The leakiness, the reactivity of a gut goes up 10-fold after competition. That's why you can't just dump food into yourself after, say, a triathlon. So that's why we have to be really super careful, making sure all these things don't upset anything. And the Endura is used constantly in long-term exercise. So let's say you have a 6-hour competition of some sort, you can drink it non-stop. So it has to have glucose polymers and fructose to maximize absorption. Okay? It's got to get to the muscle. So it needs some form of sugar that doesn't hurt you in order to be transported there. And it increases power, performance running, and time to fatigue during cycling. That's where that 20% increase comes from, and it's in Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research. That's where that information was found. So, great stuff on that. So, MCT oil to get you into ketosis if you're doing the keto diet. Okay, it's also very easily digestible fat. So if you just need to add fats to, say, a protein shake, even though you're not doing a keto diet, that's how I use it. And the coenzyme Q10 to really fuel the mitochondria that we talked about. The coenzyme Q10 is a chewable. It gets absorbed somewhat sublingually, so it gets to your system a lot quicker. I have a guy who does race car driving. He actually is also an engineer for Ford, and he tests the Mustangs. And what he does is he takes 2 of these before competition. Why? Because it makes his mitochondria go up, which increases cognition speed and increases his reflex time, or decreases the reflex time. In other words, he's a lot quicker with the wheel. And he says, it just hits me like this within 10 minutes. And I think it's really cool, because I think it might be responsible for a few of his victories. Yeah. What's even cooler, he happened on it himself. Yeah. So it's also used for increasing ejection fraction in the heart. So coenzyme Q10 at a dose of 600, which would be 2 of those, increases ejection fraction, an average of 10%, so the power of the heart 10% in about 3 months' time. So yes, we do use it for patients with angina, and it's very measurable. MitoBoost I kind of covered already. It gets the mitochondria up and rolling, and is probably my very favorite tool with athletes. So inflavonoid is to get inflammation down. So I'll take 2 of these. It's turmeric combined with some other herbs, which increases absorption. Turmeric 45-fold, again proved in individual in some large studies. And one of my sons actually taught me this one. He says, well, if you take 2 of those after intense exercise, you're not sore the next day. He's right. It's really kind of a cool thing to be able to do. And for the proteins, I cover those already. These are pretty big in protein. Protein has to be treated with respect. Even the plant-based one, you just don't dump it down a hatchet. It takes more digestive power in order to break this down compared to, say, plants. So treat it with respect. Treat it like a meal. Don't just, important little point. The branched-chain amino acids, the collagen, and the meta-relax, which was to decrease muscle contraction, also changes the HRV numbers pretty dramatically. Fish oil is a must-do. It decreases inflammatory response, especially in joints. We put down rheumatoid arthritis with that one as well. So there's a lot there, and nutraceuticals is a tool to use, but don't forget your biggest tool is food. Yeah, nutraceuticals is just an add-on. It's a turbocharger. You can't rely on it alone. It's just a way to game the system a little bit in a good way, improving health while improving performance. But food, wow, you need to be plant-based. If you're wanting to get really healthy, make sure vegetables is the centerpiece in breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Fruit is a nice side dish to it, but watch out, a lot of sugar in some of them, especially tropical fruit. Right? Your blueberries and blackberries and apple and things like that is one of the best low-carb, high-nutrient type of sugar. The antioxidant potential of blueberries and blackberries is unbelievable. I just saw a study that shows that 2 little handfuls of blackberries a day reduces colon cancer risk over 5 years' time by 42%. Unbelievable. That's not very much. Yeah. So that's an important point. And don't forget the fats. The one thing that got us two things that really got us really inflamed as a nation: obese, decreasing lifespan at this point, skyrocketing healthcare costs due to chronic disease, is the fact that in 1970s we created that thing called the food pyramid and took out fats. I always love going back to my old home, the Netherlands, and eating there, and virtually every plate that is served is 1/3 to half the size of what we get served here. It's real food. They really look down on manufactured food. And when you tip the plate, the fats will just roll off of it. There's that much on there in every meal. Yeah, I remember even as a kid that Mom would put up a cup of olive oil on the stove. It'd be warm, and I'd have to drink that first thing. So, certainly was better than a cod liver oil that they started with, but still, right? So they know intuitively over there that fat is just really important. So start adding the good plant-based fats. Coconut oil, I always wondered about quantity, because you know how we go in fads over here, and and of course coconut oil about 5 years ago just became the rage, and I just went on this quest, how much coconut oil is optimum and how much is too much. And I finally found it with research from Dr. Mark Houston, a renowned cardiovascular scientist. And Mark Houston came up with the answer: 2.5 tablespoons is the absolute max. More is not better. Just like you can poison yourself with water, right? More is not always better. So use food. These nutraceuticals are add-ons, and be smart how you exercise, and you've got a game plan. So if you are a beginner and wanting to really make sure your technique is right, see Blake, stand up one more time, yay. I love watching Blake take some of the, with sport-specific people, will run up and down that hill, and that looks murderous. And it's awesome. And so yeah, I'm proud of that. And we have Dr. Greg doing that testing thing and designing the exercises from that. So that's two cool things we're doing down there. The next topic is controlling toxins within your own home. Talking about the pots, pans. Dr. Stacy Fisher is doing this one. Water filtration, cleaning supplies, what's safe, what's not safe. The pots and pan thing is a critical thing. This is a hot surface that our food is exposed to, and guess what goes into the food? Whatever that pot is made of. If you're using non-stick items, ooh, that's a dangerous one. You're playing with fire there with your health. So we're going to be covering that kind of stuff. I've got a couple of, I think 3 Instagram videos on it this past week. So if you're curious about some of that, information is already out there regarding those things. Note to date, it's a week later than we usually do. So, having said that, I'm going to open it up to questions. And I'll open it up by asking me a question first. This is just slightly weird, off topic, and that's why I thought I'd do it after. So Doc, what do you think the professional athletes are doing? What is the absolute way out there, new technology, maybe controversial things that athletes are doing? So I went on a quest on that one because I want to be cutting edge. And here's what I found. Well, first a couple of basics. What they're always measuring and looking to improve is VO2 max. How well can you utilize your oxygen for energy, right? So running economy. So we're talking marathon runners now. No wasted movement, right? We all know the few runners, and there's like, how are they even going forward? Because they're going like this, right? I mean, half the energy is going sideways and not forward. Right? So running economy, and this is where Blake actually comes in and says, you shouldn't be doing this to your head, right? And straighten it out. And so running economy is a big one. And your lactate threshold. So this is really how fast do you produce toxins and how efficient you can get it out of there. If you watch Tour de France, you've seen a few riders bonk this past few weeks, and it's an amazing thing to watch. They're going up the Alps and they seem like they're going strong, except they're getting a little erratic, and then boom, they just stop. So what just happened there? It's called bonking. They exceeded their lactate threshold and their muscles just froze up on them. The brain says, no more. Yeah, and you can extend that, by the way, and I should have mentioned that in the seminar, by using a little bit of beet juice. Soccer players have proven that you've got 20% more energy in your tank in double overtime by having 2 to 4 ounces of beet juice before the game, because it helps the lactate threshold. Kind of a cute little way to do it. So to really go after those, I found something called a CVAC pod, CVAC. It's only $75,000. And what it does, it's this pod, the futuristic thing that you sit in, and what it does, it raises the pressure, so it's like a pressure chamber for oxygen, hyperbaric chamber, to the equivalent of 7,000 meters, right? And then it goes all the way down to 0 again, and back up to 7,000 meters, and it does so every minute. So it goes up and down, essentially exercising your ability to bind to oxygen and get rid of the lactic acid. So that's one. So I tried to find evidence that it actually works. I found none. But there's some big-time athletes using it. So the other one, and there's some evidence in this one, it's called a HyperIce Hypervolt. And it's a rapid percussion device. It's a little cheaper, it's $375. And what it does, it goes at a blur after a muscle. It just vibrates it intensely. And it vibrates it faster than your nervous system can react to, thus disengaging your nervous system from that muscle. And when you're done with it, it's a reprogram and it engages it in the normal way again. So if you're chronically tight somewhere, gets the nervous system off of it. It's a pretty cool, elegant way to do it. I'm intrigued. And here's the Normatec 2.0 compression boots. Very popular out there right now. And these are about $1,200. And they look like a big cast you put on either side. And it's actually based on technology from the Navy and Air Force, because when they go through the corners at really high Gs, that you want to prevent fainting. That would be a good thing, right? So what they do is it blows up your legs, and this is to keep your blood in your brain, essentially. So this one does it after workout with your legs. It basically increases circulation back up to the liver, so you detoxify the lactic acid much more quickly and reduces the recovery time dramatically. So that's what the professional athletes are doing out there right now. And yeah, anything for an extra second, you know? So, questions? There's got to be at least one. Yes?
The collagen product, is that the orthomolecular product?
It is. Yeah. And it's Gen capitalized. Yeah, they saw the studies, were intrigued by it, and it's also available here under prescription as Mobilee and Synvisc. And it's really weird to me because it is an all-natural product, well proven, and natural products in Europe can be prescription if you have evidence behind it and the studies behind it to prove how it works. Somehow they passed this one over here as a prescription and a product. I don't know how. Yep. Any other questions? Yeah.
You're talking about the heart rate, the 180 minus
Yep.
your age.
Yep.
Let's say 50.
Plus or minus 5.
Yep. So if you're working out, let's just say running.
Yep.
Running along, you want it to be like at 140 and then come down? And what does that number tell you?
Okay, so let's say you want to go for a run. And let's say you're 50 years old and you're in good shape. So 180 minus 50, 130 plus 5, 135. You want your heart rate to average there. Average, because there's going to be some hills, some ups and downs, and if it goes up temporarily, that's fine. Only temporarily though. We're talking, I wouldn't, probably not more than 20 seconds, and then come back down again because you're going downhill. The average at the end of the run should be about that. Yeah, and some of the new watches, straps are really good for that, or you can just do the old-fashioned way, right, for 15 seconds. Yeah, perfect. Yes, question here.
The Nutrigen's CoQ10, you have a couple of them. What's the difference between the Nutrigen and...
So the Nutrigem is a chewable one. It's kind of a jelly one-like, and because you chew it, a lot of it gets absorbed sublingually, so it goes directly into your blood system, giving it an immediate result. So if you're into athletics and you want to fuel up and fire up your mitochondria now, that's what you use. Now, we also have something called coenzyme Q200, and that's more of a tablet version, and that's, okay, this guy has got a heart condition or whatever, then maybe that's handier. So the 300 is just my preferred product. Yeah, but they both work.
They both work exactly the same on as far as...
Yeah, except the 200 obviously is a little less potent. Yeah. That's all. Yeah. Good.
Do you use devices to measure your ketosis?
Yes, but you remember you can become keto adapted, so it can deceive you. But it's a good way to measure, to see if you're going into ketosis at least. And once you know that feeling, the cheap old urine measurement is just fine. Blood is best.
Well, I heard breathing being in.
Yeah, the breathing one is good too. Yeah.
Talking about like a mask.
Yeah, but it gets expensive, and therefore, and the urine strips are so cheap, and a patient can usually figure out if they're in ketosis once they know the feeling. So, I feel this, and the keto strips show, okay, from there on out, boom. I actually had it in church this past time. I make sure I'm 100% into ketosis on Sundays. It's kind of my reset day, so I skip breakfast except maybe a cup of tea and maybe a little MCT oil. And then I was sitting there just getting a little sleepy in church, and then all of a sudden, bzz, it's like my vision brightened up, my brain brightened up, and it was just an amazing switch over. And so I knew I was into full ketosis at that point. However, the first few times that you do that, you don't have that metabolic flexibility, your liver is not quite used to switching things over, and you get what's called a keto flu, and that's the body sputtering between burning carbs and fats, and it doesn't quite know what to do, and will even break down proteins a little bit, muscle.
It sounds like you want to cycle.
Yeah, you want to be able to...
But you want to be within a range most of the time.
Yeah.
You talk about 12-3, not eating for 12 hours, and
Yeah.
3 hours before you go to bed.
Yeah. So Don is our health coach. Do you want to hit that one, or you want me to hit it? Okay. So metabolic flexibility, I think, is very important. We should be able to starve a little bit. We should be able to use food, right? However, due to our society, we have been overfed. We've gotten ourselves lazy, so to speak, metabolically. And at top of that, we've eaten foods that we shouldn't, so and we're exposed to toxins that we shouldn't be, and we've gotten ourselves in this inflammatory pickle, okay? So when you're there, then just doing a normalization of diet and lifestyle is not good enough anymore. You'd have to go with a change agent. Just like when you're out of shape, you got to exercise a little extra in order to get back. So that's where the keto is really good. That's why we do it for 6-8 weeks at the most. Just a change agent, get you out of inflammation, and then we like to cycle in and out. Yeah? Does that answer that? Okay. Good. Yes?
Can you give me a definition of ketosis?
Yeah. Go to Nature's Remedies website, and we have an excellent blog that you can read within 10 minutes that explains it A to Z. We've really tried to simplify it, but essentially what it is instead of fueling yourself with carbs, which is a flash in the pan, that's where that burning paper example came from, you've taught your body to instead burn fat, both your own fat and dietary fat. Okay? And fat is a very steady, clean source of fuel with very few negative byproducts, unlike carbs. Because that patient that came in this afternoon, it's a pretty acute thyroid problem, swelling, and the thyroid numbers were all over the map. She said, "Doc, but I'm gluten-free, I'm dairy-free, I'm exercising." I said, "What about sugar?" She says, "Yeah, I'm totally off with that one." And I knew it because she was very inflamed. The numbers showed it, and she's become addicted to sugar. And what's happening when you burn sugars or carbs, you create way more toxic byproducts. It's not clean fuel, right? So we try to get rid of that, put the clean fuel along with phytonutrients such as broccoli has a lot of phytonutrients in it, and kale and all those vegetables, and the body can then reset itself and heal. The mitochondria go back up. You go into what's called autophagy, which means the body eats up all the bad degenerated cells and refreshes it with new ones. And that's how we do it. Now, an easy way to go into ketosis is to do that partial fast like I did on a Sunday. You're immediately into ketosis unless your body's not used to doing it. Then you just feel hungry and miserable. Yeah? Okay. Any other ones? Yes?
Okay, my question is about fasting, intermittent fasting probably.
Yep.
If you're trying to gain muscle mass, it seems really intuitive because you want your energy high enough and your protein
Yep.
enough.
Yep.
But yet this idea of having the metabolic flexibility and this kind of detox,
Right.
I also want that. So is there a way to do that?
So with intermittent fasting?
I guess, or would there be a different way?
Well, an intermittent fasting is not a great time to do your 20, 30, 40-mile bike ride.
I'm talking more about hypertrophy, if you want to be gaining muscle mass.
Yep. No, it's definitely a way to do it because muscle mass is gained. The more ideal your body's condition is, the conditions surrounding the muscle, the more it's going to grow. There's no question about it, as with any other tissue. So to get yourself out of inflammation and then well renourished is just golden. So doing this, say, twice a week is extremely beneficial for the athlete.
So kind of like the skipping breakfast, like you would
Yeah,
talk
some people do supper. To me, that sounds lousy, but yeah. So, and when I do it on a non-stressful day. Yeah? Good. Any other questions? Yeah? Have a great one. Thanks for being here. Yeah? Got it covered? Yes, one more.
It seems like, a good standard, or what I hear and what maybe you were suggesting is exercise per week should be like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah. That's for health purposes?
For health purposes.
Absolutely. And I think 80 to 90% of exercise should actually be fun and enjoyable. There's a few things like when I do my planks, I don't, it's not like, oh man, I'm having a good time here. But if I go for me, a long bike ride, it's like, wow, look at that scenery, and it's enjoyable. So you got to make sure you find something like that while keeping some of the basics in place.
And if I would be doing 4 to 5 days a week and feel tired and worn out, would it be reasonable to think I should back it off?
Yeah, 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay.
Make sure you have a rest day in between.
Okay.
And some of my chronic illness patients have to do that. And sometimes we even have to dial it back from there where, okay, let's do weights once a week, range of motion once a week, and do 2 10-minute walks. I mean, maybe that's their starting point. Okay, find your starting point and build. It's really that simple. Yeah? And everyone's unique, huh? That's just, yeah. It's, for example, some of my patients have been through radiation and chemotherapy. It's pretty awful, the condition they're in by the time we see them. So what do we do with them? Well, I would love a half-hour walk a day, but that's too much for them. So we do 3 10-minute walks a day. Right? You just work with it. There's always a way. I have a patient, he's been with me now close to 30 years, and was always huge into cycling, and he's now 85. And I watched him go from all-out race bike to a more normal bike, then trike, then reclining trike, And now he's got a reclining trike with an electric motor on it. I mean, it's been amazing. And he's still out there. And he probably told me that his goal was 500 miles in July, and he beat it. Right?
How old is he?
He's 85.
Okay, good for him.
Yeah. Well, I just like the thinking.
You get older, your muscle mass, to some extent, your ability to train.
You have to modify.
Shifts.
It shifts. So he shifted with it instead of quitting.
Right, no,
Right?
85, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And it's,
But we all get older.
we all get older. And the one myth about getting older is that we can't build muscle. And it's a total myth. It is a total myth. We can build muscle at 70 almost as fast as we did when we were 30. However, when you stop exercising, you lose it a lot faster. That's why people think you can't build muscle, but that's not true at all. I know of a chiropractor who's passed on now at 95. He was a full-on bodybuilder till the last year of his life, and he was fit. And he was practicing till the end of his life, yeah. Yeah. Good. Got it covered?
Thank you very much.
I've got some grilling to do at home, so I'm out of here. Thanks for coming. Yeah. Thank you.